Hey, Julia, welcome back. Welcome back. Over here. We ready with these? Claire, welcome in. Julia, welcome in. Hope everybody's doing good on this Friday night. Hope all is well with everyone. Oh, we lost somebody. Oh, we got somebody back. Hopefully everybody's doing okay tonight. Mexi Pina, welcome in. Mexi Pina, how's everything in San Diego going? Kath, welcome in. D-Lynn, welcome in. Shelby, welcome in. Everything is good, good. BD, welcome in. John, welcome in. Julie Megatron, welcome in. John, how was your day so far? Doing really good. Friday night, my last Friday of vacation. My last official Friday. Oh, you just got off work right now? Oh, okay. Gospel Time with Benjamin, welcome in, Gospel Time. YouTube. Hey, Christina, welcome back. Welcome in, welcome in. Franklin Moreno, welcome in. YouTube, choose Agnes, welcome in. Oh, Chaos Agnes, I'm sorry. We have a goal of 20 Happy Fridays. Thank you so much for the gift on TikTok. Wisco Sports, welcome in. Adventure Pups, welcome in. We'll begin in a couple of minutes. We're just waiting for at least 20 people to come into the room, or 10 minutes after the hour. 10 minutes after the hour. Anybody got big plans for this weekend? Anybody got big plans? Kristen Stevens, welcome in. Let me get these books for you. Hey, Spooky Owl, welcome in. Spooky Owl. We've all read. Spooky Owl, I'll go over that right now with you guys. Go ahead and begin. Thank you, Wisco Sports. I really appreciate that. We're just waiting for. We'll wait one more minute before we begin. Christina, my plans are to sleep now. That's great. Hey, I'll take it. I think reading your comment made me yawn too. Did you guys see the projects that we made on Wednesday? This is your guys'. You guys made the emo with the our little emo octopus with the little ring thing, with the little brow ring. This one came out really good. And then we have our East Coast. She's looking at Fabu. We love her and her eyebrows, her eyelashes. Hey Bree, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome to those of you who are in YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, please. We read children's literature books. All right. So to begin with, I have a physical copy of Joe E. King and the Fragile Figurine. For those of you who are on YouTube, this is my published children's book. So what I did was I took the file from the ebook, I sent it to FedEx Kinko's, and they made this little book for me. So you guys can now see what a physical copy would look like. Although the only thing that we have right now is the ebook. That way I can share it with you. But you can also, if you want a physical copy as well, yeah, isn't that fun, guys? You can, it's very easy with FedEx Kinko's. You do everything online. You drop the file in, and then you choose how you want the book to be set up. This one I used cardstock and then laminate, and then they binded it for me. But there's cheaper versions too. And this is just kind of like my my sales copy, so that anybody who wants to see a physical copy can look at it, and then they get their digital copy. I send them the digital copy. But yeah, really good one. So now when I read it, we can read it like an actual book. So if you're interested in buying your own ebook copy, they're $5 a piece. Just drop me, I just posted right now on TikTok my latest post on Joe E. King. There's my email address there. You can email me and I'll send you a copy. It's a $5 donation just to set the cost of the illustrations. Yes, pink berry toppings. Yeah, Spooky Island, the art really good on this one. Yeah, so I'll give you guys an update on what happened today. So I'm in, we got the first stages of Joe E. King with a professional illustrator. This one's through like a reputable company. I set the script. They put me together with a illustrator. They told me how much the amount is going to be. So now what I have to do on my end is I need to take the money out and then pay them. So depending on how long the money takes to get to me, then I'll pay them and then they'll get started on it. But I want to pay it in full. That way I can just start like generating interest in it. That way I can pay for it. But that will be the official physical copy that you'll be able to purchase on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Now, the illustrations are going to change just a little. This is a mock-up, so I gave the illustrator these pictures so he can get an idea of what I'm thinking. But I really did tell him, I said, I really want the very traditional fall, warmish tones. And so they connected me with one of I get to choose from 3 different illustrators. So the illustrations will look something similar, but not exactly like this one. These are more AI generated. I do really like these, but the lady that created them the file isn't the right type of file to do for print, for self-publishing. And plus, when the physical book comes out, I want to do stickers and all this other stuff. So keep an eye on out on that. So if you are interested in purchasing, hey Jada Clayton, welcome in. I'm just coming in. This is your Jada, my very first children's book, one of 3. So as soon as we get Joey King off and running, then the second book, Joey King and Carry On Queen. Carry On Queen is going to come out as the second book. But this is the first one in a 3-book series. So reserve your ebook copy now. And the ebook, you'll be able to bring it up on your device. Let me show you. Christina, not yet. I have to look it up. I will look it up, I promise. This is one that I sent to a friend. Let me lower the lighting on this so you guys can see it. Yeah. So when you open it up on your phone, you'll be able to read it on your phone like this, or if you have an iPad, or even on your desktop, you can bring it up. Jada, it's about Joey King and the fragile figurine. Joey King, he loves his little figurine that his grandma gave him. And then something happens with it. But if you would like to purchase it, DM me. DM me or look at my post. My email address is on there. I put my email me and I'll send you a copy. $5 donation, just to offset the cost of the book. And if you stick around till the end, maybe we'll have a 5th book tonight and we'll read it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We have all new fresh titles tonight. East Coast got some really good stories today. Christina, if you want to email me, I have Zelle, I have Venmo, and PayPal. So if you go to my profile on TikTok, if you go to my profile on TikTok and you hit YouTube, and you go to the YouTube link, you go to YouTube. Maybe the link died. Or you could email me here, click email, and then it'll send it an email to it. Just email me and I'll send you the copy. I'll give you the link for the copy and then you can send me the money. Did that answer everybody's question? I hope so. Yeah, so just on, and then email me and then we'll figure out how we get the money. If you want to donate using the little gifts here, you can do that as well. So if you want to send a $5 gift through TikTok, that'll be great too, because it'll just go to my balance on my TikTok link, and then I'll send you a copy. Let me know if you want to do that. How do we go about finding an illustrator? There's several. There's a lot. It's very. You kind of have to do your research. What I did was I went through ChatGPT and I asked it to give me a list of illustrators, children's illustrators, and it gave me a list. And from there, that's how I got the information, the websites. And then you can go on places like Fiverr.com or any of those gig type, small gig type websites where you purchase a service. That's how I got my pictures for this one. That one was a lot cheaper. The gig is a lot cheaper, but it was AI. Professional Illustrator is a little bit more expensive. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. All right, let's look at our titles here. Let's see what we have. We're going to read, for the East Coast, I read this Maple and Willow. It was called Apart. This one is called Maple and Willow Together. You guys are going to really love it. All right, we love a good end page. We got some acorns there. We got some leaves, fall leaves. Maple and Willow together. Maple and her little sister Willow were always together. Maple and her little sister Willow were always together. Look at this tree. How pretty. We love a good green and yellow leaves. So here's a maple tree, and then here's a willow. A little baby willow tree. Weeping willows are so beautiful, especially when they're big and they just are cascading down. So pretty. It was hard to remember a time when the girls weren't together. In fact, their parents even wondered if the girls had their own language. And in a way, they did. So they're two sisters, always together. I know, weeping willows are so beautiful. In fact, their parents even wondered if the girls had their own language. They did. They had Pig Latin. O Snay Unfay. That's so funny. They spent mornings together. They ate breakfast together. They read books together. That's sweet. They draw together. Look at this one. Oh, she would get scared. Look at this one. She'd sleep with her sister. On sunny days, the girls looked for heart rocks, built fairy houses, and caught grasshoppers. On sunny days, the girls looked for heart rocks. How cute, isn't it? Makes you be built fairy houses and caught grasshoppers. Brings back memories of me and my sister before we start playing. Before we start drinking. Right? It's really cute. Hide and seek was one of their favorite games. You're it, Maple would shout. But Maple didn't like the way Willow counted. So, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, she would have to show her how to count. Then it rained. Maple would chirp, I'm in charge of the umbrella. Willow didn't mind because she was in charge of the puddles. So the older sister was in charge of the umbrella, but she loved the puddles. She would jump in them. The puddles brought out worms. Maple and Willow both loved worms. Maple kept her worm in a special box, her box. That was okay with Willow because she liked her worms to wriggle all over her fingers. So she had her own worm box here, the little squirrel at the top. I love how in this they've included the trees, the maple and the willow. One day, Maple decided they should pick dandelions. Willow wanted to blow them in the wind, but Maple wanted to collect the dandelions, not blow them. So they were almost, they had similarities, but they were also very opposite of each other. That's when Willow decided to show Maple a thing or two. And Maple decided to tell Willow a thing or two. They started fighting. Then Willow took it out on Maple's toy. Adme, Adme. And Maple took it out on Willow. Uh-oh. She pushes her. She pushed her to the ground. She took it out on her doll, but her sister, Maple, took it out on her. Thank you so much for the tiny diny. I appreciate that. We do have a bowl of tiny dinies here at the top. The girls were separated and sent to their rooms, but after a while, that got boring. So Maple slipped something over to Willow. Then Willow slipped something over to Maple. These girls, they're too much. They got separated. And they got bored and they started opening the door and talking to them. Not funny. The girls met halfway and were together once again. They couldn't wait to run back outside. Oh, so they're friends again. Sisters. And this time, when Maple and Willow collected dandelions, they both made wishes and blew them in the wind. And now they're cooperating. They got it out of their system. They had to fight. That evening, they took a bath and put on their pajamas and hopped like grasshoppers and read more books. You get that? And fell asleep together. Aww! Isn't that the cutest? The end. Maple and Willow together. What did you guys think? On a scale of 1 to 10, what did you guys give it? I give it a 10. Definitely give it a 10. Mexi Pina an 8. Shelby 10. Spooky Owl 7. Yeah, Shelby, that was really cute. Huh? I really thought so too. Pinkberry 9. Pinkberry toppings. Let's see, how many people are it? 23 people inside the room. Yay! Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and read our second book of the night. Let's see what we have in the stacks. Oh, I saw this one. I think this would be a really good one. We love a good cultural book here in our Children's Literature Live. Flowers for Sarajevo. Flowers for Sarajevo. And then look at the illustrations on this one. And look at the flowers, the roses. They almost look like stained glass, the way they made them. Very pretty. We love a good end page. We love a good end page. Flowers for Sarajevo. See that man in the floppy hat? That's Milo. He's my father. He could sniff out the best roses in all of Sarajevo. Many kinds of people come together here in our marketplace, looking for spices, meats, and breads. Sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't. But almost everyone leaves with flowers. Milo's flowers. I'm Drasko. I'm his son. So, Milo is his father, and that's Drasko. And every morning they go to the shop to sell things, and a lot of times people, they buy things and they don't. It's a big church here. A square. Sometimes they buy things and sometimes you don't, but they always buy flowers. The Serb and the Croat, the Muslim and the Christian. We have plenty to argue about, my father says. But, like these flowers, we manage to live side by side. Even old Goran there, he nods towards the cranky spice merchant in the next stall. I give my father a doubtful look. Believe it, Drasko, underneath that thorny hide there beats a beautiful heart. My father slips one of his prized roses into Goran's apron, and the old man snorts. I understand giving flowers to little Gertie or poor Miss Novak, but the meanest man in the market, my father, is a mystery to me. So the Serb and the Croats, the Muslim and the Christian, we all have plenty to argue about, says my father. Like these flowers, we manage to live side by side. So Dad's a pretty good guy. He gives the flower to Mr. Goran. Mr. Goran's a grumpy old man. Many things are a mystery to me. I wonder how so much can change so quickly. Overnight, it seems we are at war. My country is tearing apart. Every day, men are leaving for the battlefield. Even my father. Now it's my job to keep the flowers fresh and our family fed. But I am only a boy. The merchants who are our friends and tired. The merchants who were our friends are tired and bad-tempered. They have pushed me to the worst corner of the square. No shade, no water for the flowers. Now I'm even too far from the bakery to enjoy the smell of fresh bread. Where once they had kind words and treats for me, now it's move on, Drasko, or not here, Drasko. Out of the way, Drasko. So here he is. Here's Drasko. Ever since the war, now everybody's just mean and grumpy. Still, there is one good thing about this spot. Behind my stall stands the building where the orchestra practices. Thanks to the window they leave open to the warm May breezes, I hear every note. I have the best seat in the square. So he found a positive, even though he was pushed to the side, he found a positive. He can hear music. Behind my stall stands the building where the orchestra practices. So here he is. Thanks to the window they leave open to the warm May breezes, I hear every note. This morning, the orchestra plays music I remember from when I was small. Every evening, my father would put a record on his old phonograph. Some nights, he would dance me around the house, laughing. Today, I close my eyes and let the music carry me far away from this crowded, lonely place. So the music reminds him of when he was a kid. He's feeling a little bit alone. The church bells ring and wake me up from my memories. It's 10 o'clock. Over the bells, over the music, comes a whistling sound like fireworks shooting into the sky. Then an explosion. In an instant, everything is madness. A mortar has hit the bakery where people were lined up for bread. I can hear the shouting, the cries. The door beside me flies open. Orchestra musicians burst from the rehearsal hall and race toward the bakery. I hear the wail of a siren. Everyone around me runs away. I run too. Oh, so it looks like they got bombed. The next day, the square is strangely still. 22 people were killed. They were just waiting to buy bread. The church bells ring 10 o'clock again. I cringe, remembering that terrible moment. Then the door to the rehearsal hall opens, but this time only one man steps out. So it looks like, yeah, so it looks like, thank you so much, Kim Ferris, for the follow. Looks like yeah, they got bombed, and then the next day they found out that 22 people died. And it's very quiet the next day. Isn't that sad? I've seen him before, this man with his extraordinary mustache. Today he is dressed in a tuxedo as if he's going to a concert. In one hand he carries a chair and in the other a cello. He steps carefully through the rubble and stops near the crater in front of the bakery. So this is one of the orchestra people that he's heard in the past. He sits and places his bow to the strings. The people who have gathered look on in silence. He plays the most beautiful and heartbreaking music anyone could ever imagine. All of us, Serb and Croat, Muslim and Christian, stand side by side listening to a language we all understand. The music stops. No one applauds. No one moves. So even though they got bombed and people passed away, this guy got up and started playing for the people. Without a word, the cellist picks up his chair and disappears into the rehearsal hall. I return to my stall, where an old woman has stopped to buy roses. Please take them, I say. Today they are free. But I know that there are not enough flowers in all of Sarajevo to fill the hole that mortar left in our hearts. Mm-hmm. So there's the cellist. He's up and leaving. Look at it's bombed out. They've got debris all over the place. And then he gives away his flowers for free because he's like, you know what? Money is not the important thing right now. The following day, at exactly 10 o'clock, the cellist plays again. The day after that is the same, and the next. For 22 days he plays, one day for each person lost at the bakery, one day for each family without a loved one. Every night I say 22 prayers and one more for my father. Isn't that nice? It's a small little remembrance of the people who passed away, the 22 people. He plays for 22 days straight, and then he says 22 prayers for the people. We need to pray. We need to pray. The war is not over, but people have come back to the square. The bakery has opened its doors, and again, music floats down from the window above my flower stall. Still, every once in a while, something takes me by surprise. Just yesterday, old Goran brought a man to my stall to buy lilies. He has his father's nose for flowers. This one, Goran says, almost smiling. Almost. I slip my best rose beneath his apron strings. Just like your father, he huffs, giving away what you should sell. It's kind of brought Goran around, because remember, Goran was the grumpy old man. But now at least he's making a small effort. At the end of the day, I clean up my stall. I gather the flowers I have left and make my rounds of the square. I leave a few in front of the bakery and some at the orchestra's door. I take one home to set beside my father's place at our table as I wait for his return. And tomorrow, like my father, like the cellist, I do my own small part to make Sarajevo beautiful once again. Oh, kind of a cool picture though, that silhouette looking out the window. Author's note. On the morning of May 27th, 1992, at the height of the Balkan War, a mortar attack targeted one of the last working bakeries in the Bosnian city of Sarajevo. 22 people waiting in the breadline were killed. It was yet one more act of senseless ethnic violence in a war rife with sorrow heaped on sorrow. The following morning, at the precise hour of the attack, a door opened across the square from the bakery. A cellist in the Sarajevo Opera Orchestra, Vedran Smoloskovic, stepped outside and into history. He was to become the man the world would call the cellist of Sarajevo. Thus began the events that inspired this book. The end. Guys, Flowers for Sarajevo. This is a good one. This is why we come together and we share children's literature books, because of stories like these. Yes, Mexi Pina, really good book. All right. We started with Maple and Willow together, 1. And then 2, Flowers for Sarajevo. What are your votes? 1 in the comment section, 1 or 2? I'm going to say 2. I really like 2. That's a good one. That was a good one. What is everybody thinking tonight? What are your votes? Mexi Pina 2, thank you so much for the gift. I really appreciate that. We do have a gift for Tiny Dinies here up at the top. Thank you so much for your likes. I really appreciate that too. This one is called Nick the Knight Dragon Slayer. This one's funny because it's kind of big. Nick the Knight Dragon Slayer. We love a good dragon book. Look at that end page. Isn't that a good end page? Those swirlies. A dark red. Half, 2. Nick the Knight had always wanted to fight a real dragon. He had never fought one before, but now the great day had come. Nick got up early to prepare for his journey. He wouldn't battle the undefeated dragon Breakhorn, who lived high up in the mountains. So Nick the Knight. Those great illustrations. Looking over a map. He's always wanted to fight a dragon, and now is his opportunity. So it says, Nick got up early to prepare for his journey. He would battle the undefeated dragon, Breakhorn, who lived high up in the mountain. Look at these illustrations. This is great. I gotta find the words. After a few hours of traveling, Nick saw a small village at the foot of the big mountain. So here's the small village at the foot of the big mountain. You got all the people there working. No one had climbed the mountain in years. Everybody was afraid of Breakhorn, who was sleeping in the snow at the top. The people of the village would be so happy if the dragon was defeated. The higher Nick climbed, the colder it got. As he climbed, he thought, what will the dragon look like? Will he be very big? And will he have sharp teeth? Suddenly, Nick felt a rumble. Oh, Nick the Knight was so deep in thought, he didn't notice he was already at the very top of the mountain. But where was Breakhorn? Suddenly, Nick felt a rumble. What was that? The mountain was moving. Slowly, a deep red color appeared beneath the snow. Nick saw a long, narrow tail and 2 big wings. He was on top of the dragon. A deep, sleepy voice growled, "Who is this knight who disturbs my sleep?" Breakhorn. Breakhorn was awake. So he goes traveling up to the mountain, and he finds himself right there, right on top of the dragon. Dragon doesn't look too scary, though. He's piled up in all of that snow. But I love that red, though. It's a good red. The old dragon slowly lifted his head and looked drowsily at the little knight in front of him. Nick bravely drew his sword. Breakhorn was so close to him he could hear the beast breathe. "I'm Nick," the knight shouted. "I am here to fight you." Breakhorn didn't do anything. He just looked at Nick. Curiously at first, but then he laughed, deep and slow. "Ha ha ha! You really think you can defeat me with such a little sword? Forget it. I'm not fighting you." Hey, K Spangler, welcome in. He's laughing at his little sword that he's got to fight him. Disappointed, Nick returned to the village, but he wouldn't give up. He threw the little sword away and went to the blacksmith, who could make him a bigger sword. "Good smith," Nick said, "I need a gigantic sword, even bigger than the dragon's tooth. Only then I can defeat Breakhorn." So he goes back into the village looking for the blacksmith who's going to make him a bigger sword. He's currently doing that right now. The next morning, the gigantic sword was ready, and Nick took it with him to the mountaintop. Breakhorn watched as the little knight clumsily swung the sword. "Look," Nick shouted proudly. "This sword is even longer than your teeth. Can we fight?" But Breakhorn was not impressed. He growled, "Tell me, knight, how will you defend yourself against my flames? You don't even have a shield. Forget it. I'm not fighting you." So it's kind of a nice dragon. He wants to make sure it's even. He could just burn him down, but he's not going to do it. For the second time, Nick returned to the village. A shield. How could he forget? "Good smith," Nick said, "I need a huge shield, even harder than the dragon's skin. Only then I can defeat Breakhorn." The next morning, the huge shield was ready. Virgo, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much. So there he is. Okay, you got the nun there. So he's came back. He needs a shield now. It's going to be a really nice shield if he gets that one. For the third time, Nick climbed to the mountain. Breakhorn saw that the little knight struggled with the gigantic sword and the huge shield. "This shield is even harder than your skin," Nick shouted. "Can we fight now?" Breakhorn stretched his huge body and wings. The ground shook. Nick quickly hid behind the shield, but Breakhorn just laughed. Look, knight, look how big I am. And you are still so small. I'll blow you down. Forget it. I'm not fighting you." Even with the shield and the longer sword, the dragon's like, "Nah, not gonna do it." Nick sadly dragged himself back to the village. Fighting a dragon was hard. When he finally arrived, he yawned. "Good smith, I need an enormous suit of armor. One that makes me look taller and bigger. Only then I can defeat the dragon." The blacksmith immediately got back to work. Nick sat by and watched. Fighting a dragon was not as much fun as he thought. I want to know how this ends. Why is the dragon doing all this? So he's going to get a big sword, a shield, and now he wants this big mechanical suit of armor. And look at the people in the village. Isn't that great? These illustrations are really fun. When the sun rose the next morning, Nick was already on his way up the mountain. Very, very slowly, step by step, the heavy, enormous suit of armor, the big, strong shield, and the huge, gigantic sword made the ground shake, just like a dragon. Nick was out of breath when he finally got to the top. He fell on his back in the snow. The armor creaked. and groaned. Breakhorn curiously sniffed the big metal thing on the ground. Nick didn't say anything. He quietly started to cry. He'd had enough. Forget it. I'm not fighting you like this. He got frustrated. That big machinery came apart. Nick took off his enormous suit of armor and sat down sadly. Breakhorn, too, looked glum. Won't you stay a little longer? The dragon asked. I like your company. It's always so lonely at the top of this mountain. Nobody dares to come up here. And if someone does show up, it's because he wants to fight. The dragon lowered his head. And I just don't feel like fighting anymore. That's why nobody can defeat me. I don't fight. I prefer talking or playing games. Nick took some time to think and then suddenly jumped to his feet. Wait here. I'll be back in a jiffy. Aww! The dragon. He's a little depressed. Look at his little horn. It's been cut off a long time ago. Soon after, Nick and Breakhorn were sitting together on the mountaintop. Nick found the old dragon as best as he could, or Nick fought the old dragon as best as he could, and the dragon finally fought back. That evening, Nick beat Breakhorn at least 3 times, and that's how our little knight defeated a dragon after all. And look at how he defeated him, playing chess. He gave up all of his armor, his sword, and now he's playing chess with the dragon because the dragon was lonely. The end. Nick the Knight, Dragon Slayer. That was a really good one. That was a really good one. Wow, people are sleeping tonight, or we got plans tonight. We got a small crowd. All right, let's take a vote and see what we're thinking. 1, we started with Maple and Willow together. 2, Flowers for Sarajevo. 3, Nick the Knight, Dragon Slayer. What are our votes? 1, 2, or 3? I think I'm going to stick with Flowers for Sarajevo. That was a really good one. We love a good historical children's book. Pinkberry Toppings 1. Jamie, welcome in. Have a good night, John. Thank you for stopping by. Kath, half asleep. I'm here in 2 and 3. Good. I'm glad everybody's tired. They can go to sleep nice and peaceful tonight. Have a good night, John. All right, since we do have some new people in, I'll go ahead and read Joe E. King and the Fragile Figurine. If you're new here to the live and you've subscribed, thank you so much for doing that. We're here Sunday through Friday, 10 p.m. on the East Coast, and then 9 p.m. for the West Coast. And then we do have a Project Wednesday. These are the projects that we made on Wednesday. We made octopus. This is the East Coast octopus. She's got little medallions on her, and then this is what the West Coast made. They made a emo octopus. All right, for those of you who are new, this is my first children's book. I'm selling it for $5 as a ebook. It is not in a physical copy yet. This is a physical copy that I made for myself so that I can read it online. Joe E. King and the Fragile Figurine. Joey King loved his special figurine more than anything in the world. We always have to have a really good starting. It was shaped like a small, clear dome with a rainbow inside. When he shook it, shimmering glitter swirled through the liquid, catching the light like tiny stars. So he has this little globe. It's his little figurine, and he shakes it, and there's little glitter in it. His grandmother had given it to him before she passed away, calling it a hope globe. She had told Joe it would remind him that even when things felt cloudy, there was always light and color to be found. At home, though, Joe often felt the light was missing. His father was always busy at work. As a custodian, his father spent most of his time working the late shift well into the evening. Whenever Joe tried to talk about his day or ask for help with his feelings, his dad would brush him off. "Not now, Joe, I have to go to work," he'd say. Joe felt like he didn't have anyone to share his thoughts with, except for his figurine. One sunny morning, Joe decided to take his figurine to school for show and tell. He wanted to share its magic with his classmates and tell them about his grandmother's special message. His teacher, Miss Woods, encouraged her students to share things that mattered to him, and Joe felt safe in her classroom. We love a good Mrs. Woods. So he brings his little figurine to show and tell. He really loves it. Joe just loves his little figurine, and they're all the kids just watching. At recess, Joe sat on the bench, carefully holding the figurine in his hands and tilting it to watch the glitter swirl. That's when Aaron and Jennifer, two of his classmates, walked up. "Hey Joe, what's that?" Aaron asked, pointing at the figurine. "It's my hope globe," Joe said proudly. "It reminds me of my grandma and how there's always a rainbow, even on cloudy days." Jennifer smirked. "Hope globe? That's just a fancy snow globe. Bet it's not even that special." Aaron nodded. "Yeah, I dare you to drop it. Let's see if it really holds up." Joe froze. He loved his figurine, but the girls' teasing made him feel small. He didn't want them to think he was scared. Taking a deep breath, Joe reluctantly stood up and held the figurine out in front of him. With shaking hands, he let it drop. Aww, little Joe's face. The figurine hit the concrete with a sharp crack, and Joe's heart sank as the dome shattered. Glittery liquid seeped across the ground, and the rainbow inside lay broken in pieces. Aaron and Jennifer gasped and ran off, leaving Joe kneeling on the ground, staring at the wreckage. He picked up the broken shards carefully, tears stinging his eyes. This is one of my favorite illustrations here. Guys, this story is based off of one of my friends in elementary school. He had an actual little figurine. It wasn't a globe. It was a little, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was made out of glass and it had a little shiny penny in it with water. And he was showing it off, at school, showing it to everybody. He's really proud of it. And then when we were coming back from recess, I remember we were lining up to go to class, and somebody had told Joe. I seen Joe with his little figurine on the ground. It was shattered, and this little wet spot on the floor, and he was crying. And I said, "Hey, what's going on? What happened?" And he goes, "So and so, they didn't think it was made out of glass, or they said it wouldn't break if I dropped it. So he dropped it, and it ended up breaking." So that's where this part comes from. But I love it because it's really symbolic. Also, devastation. There's been plenty of times as an adult when events. I've gone through some learning events, and I've been devastated, and it's just shattered me, or it's made me um, like check out for a year to 2 years sometimes, and it's hard to get back. It's hard to get back, hard to get back, and that's what I feel Joe represents with this little figurine. We have to, as humans, we have to experience devastation. We have to experience those times when we get kicked in the stomach and can't get up. That evening, Joe went home with the shattered remains of his figurine. He approached his father, hoping for comfort. "Dad," Joe said softly, holding up the broken pieces, "something happened today." His dad barely looked up from his newspaper. "Not now, Joe. I'm busy. We'll talk later, okay?" he muttered. Joe's chest tightened. He shuffled back to his room, holding the shards of glass. He wanted to cry, but he didn't know how to make sense of his feelings. The next day at school, still carrying the broken pieces, Joe went to school. His usual excitement was gone, and he sat quietly at his desk. The girls in the back. Joe. Miss Woods noticed right away that something was wrong. After class, she knelt beside Joe and asked gently, "Joe, are you okay?" At first, Joe hesitated, but Miss Woods' kind eyes reassured him. Slowly, he began to speak, telling her everything: the dare, the broken figurine, and how lonely he felt at home. Miss Woods nodded thoughtfully. "Hey, Gianna sings yes." Hi, this reminds me of class. I am Ash. Welcome in, Ash. So there's Mrs. Woods. We love a good Mrs. Woods when she takes care of her students. Joe lets it all out. He's been holding that all in. That whole night. The next day, Mrs. Woods realizes that he's not feeling well or he's not looking good, so she asks him what's wrong. Feelings can be very heavy, especially when you're carrying them alone. But sharing them like you're doing now is brave, Joe. Let's see if we can turn your figurine into something new. So there's Mrs. Woods. She's going to take the pieces and they're going to create something new. They're going to create something new. Together, Miss Woods and Joe worked on a special art project. They used glue, colorful paper, and the pieces of the shattered figurine to create a mosaic. The swirling glitter became part of the design, and the shards formed a bright, shining sunburst with a rainbow at its center. As they worked, Miss Woods said, "Sometimes things break, Joe, but we can create something beautiful from the pieces." Mm-hmm. So she's going to help them take those pieces and they're going to create another piece of art. Another piece of art. When the mosaic was finished, Joe felt proud. It wasn't the same as his figurine, but it was something new and special. Guys, one day we're on Project Wednesday, we're gonna make this little project for ourselves. I gotta figure out how to do it though. Oh, thank you so much, Gianna sings. Yeah, I know, right? Now, Gianna, this is the mock-up. I sent these pictures to a professional illustrator, and they're gonna create the physical copy of the book. This is just to get our feet started, our feet wet. But you guys have been with me since the beginning. That night, Joe showed the mosaic to his dad and told him everything: the dare, the broken figurine, and how much he missed spending time together. This time, his dad put down the newspaper and listened. For the first time in a long time, Joe felt heard. His dad apologized for being so busy and promised to spend more time with him. So he takes it home to show his dad. Thank you so much, Giannis. Together, they decided to hang the mosaic in Joe's room as a reminder that even broken things could be transformed into something beautiful. We love a good moon in children's literature. You know that if we were going to create a book, we had to have a good moon. Have to include the moon somehow. As Joe drifted off to sleep that night, he smiled. Life wasn't perfect, but he felt a little braver and a lot less alone. He knew that even when things seemed broken, there was always a way to bring back the light and color. The end. It's not an actual hardcover book, but you guys get the point. Joe E. King and the Fragile Figurine. Thank you so much, Jamie. I appreciate it. By Eduardo Martinez. If you're new to the live, that's me. All right. If you would like to purchase your own ebook copy of Joe E. King and the Fragile Figurine, this one, the one we just finished, if you go to my profile, if you go to the profile on my link, on my TikTok page, this is my TikTok page. If you click the email, it'll send you to my email, and then I will email you a copy for a digital copy. When you bring it up on your iPhone, it looks like this. It'll come up. This is what it looks like on your iPhone. It'll come up on your iPad and on your desktop as well. I do ask for a $5 donation just to offset the cost for the illustrations. But what's going to happen now is I gave these mock-ups to a professional illustrator, and that one's a little bit more expensive. So they're going to create the actual book, the physical book, the kind of children's book that you find in Barnes and Noble. I'm kind of hoping for a book like this, like a landscape type. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. Follow my TikTok page. I just started a series where we talk about creating a small business out of children's literature. I give you guys some ideas on how I started with it. So if you're interested, please purchase if you can, and please follow. Thank you so much, Jessica. I really appreciate that. Well, friends, thank you so much for your company tonight. I really enjoyed our books tonight. We got 16,000 likes. Thank you so much for that. Again, if you would like to purchase a copy, email me, and we can either go through Venmo, Zelle, or one of those pricings. Alrighty, friends, have yourselves a good night, and we will see you on Sunday night for the Sunday Night Scaries. Have a good night, everyone. Oh, hey, Onion, welcome in. Thank you so much, Jimmy. I appreciate it.